Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot and welcome to your new moon readings for the new moon in Cancer, 10th of July GMT, like really early in the morning, 1 in the morning, so 9th of July for a lot of the rest of the world. Now, as ever, this is a bulk introduction. I'm going to discuss a little about the moon beforehand because, oh God, I've got so much to say. But there is a timestamp in the description down below if you want to fast forward to your reading or if you are watching more than one. Because I would say, as ever, watch your sun, your rising, and your moon, to be honest. But the moon one is sort of a more internal process, or at least one would assume. But the other thing with this is a general reading. General reading rules apply, so timing's not absolute. If someone else appears in the reading, you can get them mixed up because I'm seeing actions and energies. I don't put a lot of stock in that, but I can see how it can happen. But more importantly, what I would like you to do is ask a question. Now, if you don't have one yet, watch my little waffle about the moon, and that might inspire one. But if you are aware of one, pause the video if you need to. Think about all of the questions that are around you at the moment and focus on one of them. But be aware of all of them because cards will answer what they want. There's, obviously, as a YouTube channel, please hit that like button while you're here, or if you like my analysis of the moon and the new moon events, let's put it that way, then hit that subscribe button. There will be more and they are only going to get better because, as I say, I am not an astrologer. I am learning this stuff, but my God, it doesn't end and it's fascinating. So I want to thank you to all returning subscribers, and also point out that I will be doing a show with astrologer David Fisher about the astrology from a Hellenistic, with David from a Hellenistic astrology point of view. And just remember, it's a general reading I'm about to do here. Don't give away your power. If the reading is for you, which there's a past and a present always, well, actually this time it's more of just a present. But if the present doesn't fit, don't try and make it fit. Now, this time I've been led to use the Steampunk Tarot. Now, I've actually got 3 decks called the Steampunk Tarot, but this is a big box one from Tuttle by John and Caitlin Matthews. And the more I work with this particular deck, the more interesting it gets because it's got elements of, whereas the in-between tarot has sort of the space in between each card, this one, the minor arcana seem to be combinations, like a combination of wands and pentacles, or a combination of cups and swords, or a combination of the other 2 ways of doing it, which my brain's gone completely blank for a second there. But anyway, like I say, if you're wanting to get a personal reading from me, there is a link in the Facebook, in the description, a link for the Facebook page down below. Let's get my words in order. You can contact me there directly because it has got an inbox. There's a link tree down there if you prefer another way. Facebook's really the best way to do it. Right, let's get on about this moon. You'll have to forgive me. I'm going to stop looking at the camera. I'm not used to having it quite so close. So as I look at the screen, you're going to really notice the difference. So this new moon is occurring in 18 degrees Cancer, 18 degrees and 1 minute. So there's an element of numerology 9, rebirth, or at least I always see 9 as rebirth. If you think about how you collapse numbers in numerology, the 9 always disappears, but it's always there. It never really leaves. It's like this supreme force behind each number. Now, 18 degrees Capricorn is within the arc of the angel Yael, or the Goetic spirit Ipos. Let me just change pages so I've got the notes up here, and of course I haven't written anything about Epos. That was clever of me. But by day it is ruled by the Goetic spirit Goujon, or by night Vual. Now Vual reveals the past, the present, and the future. You know, he reconciles enemies and brings love to a relationship. In medieval, wonderfully sexist speak, it says the love of a woman to a man. He creates friendships and ensures esteem. He knows all and can manipulate time. That I'm, if you've seen my videos before, you know I'm fascinated with what time is on a spiritual level as well as a physics level and everything. Now, the themes that I'm pulling from this new moon, you know how I say that I don't like doing relationship readings. Well, astrology and this new moon has told me to wind my neck in, because this new moon's very much about partnerships. It's in Cancer, it's about the home and family, but it's all forms of partnerships. So between you and a significant other, between you and your friends, between you and your rulers, elected representatives, however you want to say it. And there's a lot of themes about research, and this is all seen in the symbols for 18 degrees Cancer. But just in having a look at the partnerships theme to start off with, in the Astrology Hub podcast, Anne Ortley pointed out that Juno, the wife of Jupiter, the planet of marriage vows, you know, among other things, is retrograde at the moment and is on the South Node. So traveling in the same direction as the South Node. It's funny that Jupiter's gone retrograde, but Juno was already there. Jupiter's there, going back, chasing after her. And Anne said that this would indicate that there could be quite a few partnerships coming to an end. There's more on that, because Saturn is opposite the asteroid Hera, who, again, that's the Greek form of Juno. So again, there's the matter of vows and marriage and loyalty, opposing Saturn, where Saturn is strong and likes to say no. So there's that element of, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. This vow, this contract, this agreement, it's not serving us. We need to do it differently. Now, I'm not saying that that means things are coming to an end, just the way things have been going so far is coming to an end. That can be good. It doesn't necessarily mean a massive breakup, because Chiron, is it still in Aries or is it in Taurus? I think it's in Taurus now. Let me just check with my chart that's up. I'm sure it's in Taurus. Yes, it is. Right, so Chiron in Taurus is parallel. Now, parallels work like a conjunction. Chiron in Taurus is parallel Orpheus and Vesta. So there's wounding and healing and instruction to be had regarding the matters of unrequited love with Orpheus, and diving into the underworld, of course. And with Vesta, matters about the home. And you need to check the other astrologer videos about, especially Anastasia, Cosmic Astrologer, for a real in-depth look at Vesta during this new moon period. Sappho. Now, Sappho was a poet in ancient Greece, and she was a servant of Aphrodite. She's, as an asteroid, is very much about artistic abilities, sexual expression, and in Aquarius, Sappho likes to shock. Now, bear in mind that this, for the shock element, this Mars square Uranus, although the actual square is fading now, it's like 3.5 degrees going on 4 degrees arc, Mars is still parallel. So there's that Mars conjunct Uranus energy going on through the parallel. And we saw, wasn't it, January the 6th, that was Mars conjunct Uranus. So there's certainly energy for one partner to shock another. But with Chiron's presence with the Orpheus and Vesta, this can be a a healing thing. That healing thing is also we are enveloped. Um, Apollo, I forget what sign Apollo is because I haven't written it down here. But Apollo is opposing Aesculapia, which I'm assuming represents Aesculapius. So there's the god of healing, and then his, I think he's Asclepius, sorry, is his grandson. And he was given to be the earthly expert on healing by Apollo. So with those opposing one another, they're both working towards healing, and I don't think that they're actually working at odds against one another. They are enveloping the whole zodiac in a way of creating the opportunity for some healing. Now, if we look at the symbols, the Sabian symbol, Cancer 19, because 18 degrees Cancer is the 19th degree of Cancer, a priest performing a marriage ceremony. And it talks about the ritualization of productive interpersonal relationships. But also, another interpretation that I was reading talks about how marriage is, in a way, a tool of civilization to promote some form of conformity. Civilization promotes conformity to bring all facets of light into alignment. Before civilization began to take shape, there weren't any priests, ceremonies, or contracts for sexual relations. Civilization actually, by its very nature, promotes conformity, and it can create bondage and deny individuality. It is structured by laws and moral codes with penalties. So this is something that you can take advantage of, or here may well be something that will get challenged with that Mars-Uranus energy, because it's interesting that Mars being semi-sextile the moon, they can't officially see one another when they're next to one another like that. So it's quite possible that they will be working not necessarily at cross purposes, but pursuing totally different agendas. Now, I also want to say that there's a big note about research. Let me see, the Charabel degree is a man with a very old looking book before him. It has the appearance of Sonic Ancient Record. I think that might be a misprint here that I've got, but that's what it says, Sonic Ancient Record. But the book denotes a studious person, and 18 degrees Cancer, if you have that in your chart. It can denote a studious person, a profound thinker, one capable of grappling with abstruse studies. And it's study for the sake of study rather than study in order to publish or to be heard or to be a renowned expert. But there's a lot of expertise getting unleashed. This is backed up by the Kosminski degree symbol, which is an old man sitting alone in semi-darkness with an old book before him from which emanate bright rays of light. So there's this search for the truth within this 18 degrees Cancer degree, which I think is absolutely beautiful and very, very needed, especially during this time where partnerships and agreements are, well, astrologically under pressure. But if you look at the relationship of the moon to the rulers, the south node is being ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is strong at the moment. It's in Pisces, it's at home, but it's starting to move retrograde. It's like the last gasp of this period of Jupiter in Pisces. And that implies, I think we'll be discussing this with David, but it implies that leadership can be doubted, that there can be a lot of force from the people of wanting to know the true facts, but again with a healing level, because I've just noticed as I'm going through this, the Safarial degree symbol, now I don't know what that first word is, and escutcheon Right, I don't know what an escutcheon is. I'm assuming it is some form of shape containing a harp and a gauntlet. Now, I'm really drawn to that harp because that's the symbol of Apollo. That's the symbol that Apollo uses. Okay, that's with his music, but harp, lyre, it's reinforcing that influence of Apollo. And Apollo is also a god of truth, which reinforces those other degree symbols I was saying. So here, the Sapphire degree symbol says it denotes a person of noble aspirations and refined tastes. As an interpreter of others' works, he would shine. In the character, there is a particular mixture of gentleness and irritability, of playfulness and gravity, which can render the native of this degree more difficult to deal with. So that's from a natal interpretation, but we're seeing this same vibration of let's get to the truth, let's check all the agreements, and let's cancel the ones that are useless and cancel the ones that are rubbish. Now, if that has not, because I could talk for a lot longer about this, but if that has not given you fuel for a question, if you didn't have one already, then well, I don't know what will. Because we're always, it's human nature, isn't it? Is this partnership good for me? Whether it's between us and our employer, our partner, our leaders. I mean, hell, we get to test that ever so often, hopefully, while voting rights, well, when voting rights are available. So ask your question, take that moment. Thank you very much for watching so far and watching my blurb. And if you have any comments on the reading or on the astrology aspect, well, astrology, then comment down below. I always try to respond as fast as I can, so you get a response within a day. Anyway, I think I've talked for long enough. I'll bring up the cards. Okay, Scorpio, on first glance, this reading is saying you've had your victory, be satisfied, you're not getting to a better place, there's more things to be concerned with where you are. Now, that's blunt, and that's very much what this Six of Engines and Six of Airships are saying, but we start with a victory. That's the good thing. This is something that you have been working towards for a long time. It has been a burden, but I really do want to point out that, look, you won. Whatever it was, or, you won, you succeeded, you accomplished, you won. Even if the competitor or the opposition was only yourself, you won. Remember that, because that's really, really important. However, don't let it go to your head. We've got the, and this is not what this card means, but it's what first came to me when I was looking at it, because that Six of Engines is so strong. And no wonder, after all the work that you had put in, you'd really been burdened by whatever it was that you were trying to accomplish, and you've won. And then we get from the Energy Oracle the Appreciation card, clarified in my little Energy Oracle by the Appreciation card. However, the deeper message of that card is, well, stop and, well, literally stop and smell the roses. If you notice on this card, this very well-dressed lady is stopping to smell the rose that she's found in front of an absolute and utter field of brambles. So you're worried that she'll get caught up, you're worried that she'll get all her clothes snagged, that she can get scratched, and it's brambles, let's get rid of them. No, that's part of nature's bounty, for one thing. And yeah, I like going blackberry picking every once in a blue moon. Not that I've done it for years. Yeah, stop and smell the roses, because that's a message that comes through with this Moonlight card as well. Stop overthinking things. Trust your intuition, because you will have, well, you're going to love this. What Spirit is bringing in for you is stress and nightmares and anxieties. And the whole point of this is to see, okay, you've had your material victory, but have you learned the lessons that having that victory has given you? Because nine of airships is nine of swords. You know that it's that demon sat above the person in bed, bringing them nightmares. It's by the look of this, it's oh my god, that airship is about to land on my head. You can see there. That's the reflection of an airship in whatever it is he's got stuck to his head, or a monitor he's looking in, or something. And so, but none of this takes away from the fact that you've had this victory. You're on your victory hill. Whether anybody's reacting to that, it doesn't matter, because there's still a lot going on. You know, this was. I don't want to undersell what you have achieved, Scorpio, but this was one small victory in a far greater effort. You know, this was your victory, personally, quite a big one. Personally, not your last one. And if there's other people working to this same end, they will all be having their failures and successes and victories and defeats as well. So that there's a sense of concerted effort here. So not necessarily working with others, but working alongside others. Because with this, how you're feeling, two of engines. So two of engines, two of wands. But with these engines, like I say, I get half wands energy and half pentacles energy from these cards. And this two of engines is someone firing up some, I don't know, weird unholy device that's going to rip a hole in space-time is what I always feel like. So I've got that choice of do I or don't I, but at the same time trying to, or you know, which way am I going to go? Do I go A or do I go B? But at the same time trying to balance different priorities. Say this is a device that's going to rip through the walls of space-time. You have to think about how does it affect not just my universe, but the other universe that it's breaking through into. You know, am I going to create a huge disaster that end, even if I don't create a disaster this end? So there's this, do I not? Or do I go this way? Do I go that way? I think right now, the stresses and anxieties that are there are something for you to weather rather than react to or fall prey to, because this victory should show you that these anxieties, although they may be very real in an immediate sense, you've beat them before, you've just had a victory, you'll beat them again. You know, they're real as in, yeah, they've probably got to be dealt with right now, but they are able to be dealt with. I mean, this is what this third chakra Archangel Shamuel card is about. Is basically your solar plexus chakra, lots of energy coming into it, a renewed vigor, a renewed sense of going forward, a renewed sense of structure. Card 15, Cyborg. So immediately I want to talk I want to talk about, well, that it immediately makes me think of Cyborg Victor Stone and that ability of gaining information from technology and understanding a larger picture. Here, however, it also represents the devil. But again, as the devil is Capricorn energy, there's that sense of building a structure. And there's building a structure that's very much dictated by the way the world is around you right now. But you are nonetheless building that structure from your own hill of victory. But it is the devil card, even though it's not called that. So I will clarify it with my demon possessed tarot. And we have the Fool. In fact, we've got a few cards here actually, and oh, that's nice. So we start with Cameo as the Fool. Gives understanding of animals and of the voice of the waters, answers of things to come. So you're building a structure. These anxieties and worries and stresses, like I say, they're immediate, but they're also a test to see if you have learnt your lesson from your victory. However, also this cyborg card is indicating building a structure to go, see that stress and anxiety there, that concern, that's going to come back again and again and again and again. Let's have something that will deal with it. Let's have something that will reduce it. And that's what I'm getting of that answers of things to come. But the Fool card, a whole new beginning here. We next go on with the Seven of Swords. Again, that sense of, well, Seven of Swords is strategy rather than structure, but it is, I'm getting that structure feeling of the picking apart these stresses and anxieties and going, right, that will deal with that one, that will deal with that one. The Scarecrow needs a brain, and Tin Man needs a heart, and Cowardly Lion needs some bravery, and, getting the right bits for the right bits. Then we have Citri Imbua with Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. Now I'm going to stick with Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. Clarity about the dream, clarity about how to move forward, clarity about the goals, clarity about the presence of love around you. Because Ace of Cups, as you know, is a card about love. And Citri, as one of the Goetic spirits, is, inflames men with women's love and women with men's love. So he is a spirit that operates on that vibration of creating loving encounters or whatever. It's an old tradition, and people have always wanted to have influence over that issue. But with that being with the Ace of Cups, the Fool, Seven of Swords, it's like you are building a structure, but also taking stock of where that love is, like what the appreciation cards are talking about stopping and smelling the roses. You're not just going to attack all the brambles with weed killer or what do you call them? Flamethrower. That's the word I'm looking for. I was going to say blowtorch. With a flamethrower, because you don't want to burn the roses. And intuition is going to lead you the right way, which is what this Moonlight card is also saying. And also saying, stop overthinking. You can, as these stresses and anxieties come up, you already know the solution. Just build bigger versions of your previous solution that worked on a smaller level. And I know that you may be thinking, yes, but I want this to take me to a better place. And that option has already been denied. And I think that's been denied because, well, you're not going to a better, oh, that sounds awful, doesn't it? But you're not going to a better place. You are building a better place here, wherever here is. The reason I also say that is from the Angelarium, we have Hod, the Sephirot, or the Sephirot Hod, the left leg of the Tree of Life, representing submission, representing that allowing that flow, and then we have Lehaya, representing obedience. So this rather strikes me as it's plainly blooming obvious what you're supposed to be doing, so get on and do it. It is Don't let this one victory that you've had, go to your head. You've had that one victory, so reproduce it and reproduce it on a bigger scale. And that is something that you're going to have enthusiasm grow for. And then we have Bina. It's again on the left side. It also showing, use your intuition with all of this. Use when you've got those subtle urgings, especially those subtle urgings that just say, hang on a minute, you know how to deal with this. It was such a burden before. Lady of Submersibles here, Queen of Cups. Now I love this card. Once there's a sense of rescue, that submarine behind her could be coming to rescue her. But I rather feel it's more that she's leading the way and the submarine is following her. But I want to take both energies from this card. That sense of rescue, but not rescuing a person or rescuing yourself or whatever, but rescuing a situation, making sure that things are salvageable, things are reusable. But also there's that sense of leadership and discovery on the basis of a founding philosophy, a dream that you're going to move from. And also Lady of Submersibles, Lady of Airships, so Queen of Swords. Now this Queen of Swords she's got a certain confidence that ain't nobody going to argue with that. And it's not so much, I don't want to say that she's cutting things away like you can say with the Queen of Swords. It's more a surgical precision. She knows exactly what needs to be done and how to exert the exact right amount of pressure, a Goldilocks type of pressure. Do you know what I mean? Not too little, not too much. Because this is a situation where, right, 10 of airships, right. This situation that's going on, you've had this victory, so you're full of this victory. So you have two conflicting urges at the moment. You don't want it to stop, and you really want it to stop. Because since you've had this victory, why fight anymore? But as I say, it's going on to a larger thing, but you are building a structure. So it's like you are building a structure, a building that has that victory built into it, actually in the walls of it. But there is that element of submission, obedience. You need to knuckle down and stop stressing, follow your intuition, and do what's obvious. You've already learned a lot of these lessons. Now you've got to really apply them. Guardian Angel of Maturity is the one that says, yeah, okay, I'm the person that's good at this, therefore I've got to do it. And that's not an ego-driven statement. It is the fact that you're the person that's good at it, and this thing needs doing, so you do it. But this building of a structure with the victory built into its very nature is something that especially only you can do because of what you've gone through, because of the burdens that you have been carrying, because of all these stresses that are coming up. You go, I've been there. We have Aniel with Breaking the Circle. And I've got a big connection here between Aniel and this Lady of Airships, with that sense of building that victory into the process, into the building or what have you. You're building your own Castle Grayskull, for example, that has its own protective field. That actually, it doesn't... Remember what I said about these stresses and anxieties? They are going to come again and again and again. And the structure that you are building negates them the minute that they appear. So that's where the breaking of the circle is, that you are negating these stresses and anxieties. But where someone else is telling you, to look a bit closer, listen to them. It's what that Lady of Leviathans is. So that's the Queen of Pentacles. That's someone who cares, who nurtures. But here, she's also someone who's very, very scientific and wanting to know the little tiny ins and outs. You know, so again, here, Leviathans, so there's that earth energy, but there's sword energy there as well. There's air energy because she's wanting to pick apart and look at the tiny things. You know, she's looking at lichen on a rock with a pair of tweezers and you know, and like one of them bike light things. So there's more details that you maybe need to pay attention to, but generally you've got it. And yes, you're doing what you've done before and you're doing it again, but you're doing it on a different scale, and you are building your victories into something that means other people don't have to have the same fight that you had. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool, actually, Scorpio. Looks like you've got a really useful role on the basis of this new moon and a new moon period. So whether this is, you know, the next 2 weeks or the next 6 months or till the next new moon in Cancer, or even, hey, could be until wherever the next conjunction. Oh no, the great conjunction's in air now, isn't it? You know, some big conjunction happens in Cancer. I don't know. Um, yeah, I'll have to figure that out. But there's a really important role for you to play here, Scorpio. And this should be fun. This should be satisfying and certainly should be effective. So, if that means anything for you, Scorpio, please do comment down below, especially on this one. And obviously, go and watch your moon, go and watch your rising, and there's a link down there for the show with David about the astrology of this new moon. But yeah, when you're faced with all these stresses, now I would not normally say it's YouTube. You're going to watch it once and maybe not even to the end, so you might have not have even got this far. But if you have, remember this video. And when it's all a bit, oh my God, this is too much, I can't believe I'm dealing with all the same problems again, just come back and listen to it. Because all of those problems, you've already beaten them. So it's not the same thing happening again. It's that you're doing the weeding. You know, weeds keep coming back and you're getting rid of them. All right? Cheers.